Yo, but look, we gotta move on. This is Washington Football Weekly. And shout out to Misador Washington said nobody really knows who they want to win. Can't they both lose? Hey, yes,
Can we end in a tie?
Absolutely. But look, we got to talk Washington. And Will, there was some news that came out. There was a lot of speculation for a long time about what are we going to do. No, a lot of people didn't like the name Commanders, and we have it, but you're winning. And I've always said, winning cures all ails. It makes people forget about all that stuff. And it looks like this name is here to stay. Josh Harris had a press conference. Well, your face says it all, Will. What's up, man?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So Josh Harris did a press conference, and he got asked about the team name because there were some rumors going around, and he has said that the name is here to stay. And since then, people are legitimately pissed at him. And for the first time, they're like, he's made a mistake. We don't like this guy. It's kind of funny that we're coming off the greatest season in 30 years in the franchise. Exactly. And people are furious right now because he said, oh yeah, we're sticking with Commanders. So, hey, make sure you're checking us out on Washington Football Weekly on Apple and Spotify, because I did a quick little emergency pod yesterday about this. So I'm not going to replay everything I said there, but part of me feels like, some of this is, why would you rebrand right now? This shouldn't be what we're talking about right now. We should be talking about the fact that, later on in this pod, what we're talking about is how excited we are to improve this roster that went to the NFC Championship game. And he's having to answer doggone questions about, at some point, do you think you're going to be changing the name? So that part kind of stunk. But I also think he's in a situation where I don't know. I think they kind of know that nothing is going to work. They know we can't wear the shirt that I'm wearing. And that will never be the name. And so they know it doesn't matter what they do, whether you go Warriors, Hogs, Red Wolves, Wolves, Rampage, which is never one of the ones, even though I just keep saying it. No one's going to truly embrace it. So they might have just said, forget it. Let's go with Commanders for now.
Yeah. And which is fine. And it goes away from my point where it says, if you win, people will forget about it. Because no, people won't forget about it. But look, let's play devil's advocate for a little bit and say, we know how we came to this name. It was not because we wanted to. It wasn't because all of a sudden Dan Snyder grew a heart 3 sizes too big and said, oh, I really care for these people. No, they were coming after him. His sponsors and things were pulling out because they didn't like the Redskins name. So then we went to becoming the football team. And then they had this whole big deal where they asked the fans, what do you guys want to do? What are your thoughts? And the fans were adamant. They wanted this. They wanted this. They had their opinions. They definitely did not choose the Commanders.
Right.
And that's what he went with. Let me ask you, the Commanders, albeit, yes, you're absolutely right. We've had the greatest season that we've had in a while, but there is still that connection from Commanders to Dan Snyder. Could you make the argument that in order to kind of finally get rid of all that, you would want to change it to something?
This is why fans are so upset, is they feel like they got punched in the face by Josh Harris by saying he's keeping the team name, because they felt, hey, this group didn't pick this name. If there's ever an ownership group that is going to change it and is trying to change a culture to rebuild and rebrand, this would be the opportunity. And that's where the people are just so frustrated, because it's like, oh, what do you mean you're going to keep it? And so, yeah. And you know what? They probably would not have picked Commanders if they were in charge. Part of the reason Snyder landed on Commanders is because he wasn't going to pay the money for Red Wolves or get into a litigation fight with the Timberwolves over just Wolves in general. He refused to give any more money out. And so they're like, well, let's pick a name that's not trademarked, So Warriors was not an option because of it. And it has been said that Dan Snyder has said for years, if he ever had to change the name, he would just change it to Warriors and keep the old Indian head logo and move on with his day. And it was going to cost him money. So I think that is what people are so frustrated with, is we really thought we were going to cleanse ourselves from everything Snyder in that Didn't happen.
Yeah, it did. And it's a shame. But at the same time, we have to then come back to the fact that this has been the greatest season since 1991. And yes, we did come up just a little bit short, but there's nothing but positive vibes and feels on the horizon. So I guess the next question would be, Will, how many years of potentially winning like this is it going to take for people to finally be like, all right, that's fine, this is my new team? Or I mean, there's going to be people, and you and I both know them, there are going to be people that will remain, that will continue to wear the shirt, and they will never change, and they will say, this is my team, it's the Redskins, and it's always going to be. There you go. We're not reaching those. But for the people like you and I that do have that memory of the joy, the Joe Gibbs, the Doug Williams, all those great years in with the Redskins, and now for it to be the Commanders, when is it ever going to be enough, or will it ever be enough for us?
Right. That's a great question. That is the hardest part, I think, of this whole thing, where they are trying to figure out, are there the Redskin purists who are never coming back, or are the people that got really excited as this team started winning and went on the run that were willing to be like, well, I don't like this, but I like my team playing well. But you've also got young folks. My son's 5 years old. He only knows Commanders right now. Yep. That's all he's going to grow up with. And there could be a time when the word Commanders doesn't sound as stupid to people as it does right now. Just like if you were to start a team in Pittsburgh, would you be like Steelers,
Right.
And if you were to start a team in Wisconsin, would you be like the Packers? Let's go. I'm so happy to be, supporting that. No, but nobody cares, because two things: their historical franchises that win. There is some homage to the area, so you kind of get that. But more importantly, it's just it's a nickname. And if the team wins, people stop caring of that. So there could be a chance that, let's be honest, Sean, eventually the people who knew him as Redskins are going to die. So
there it is. I can't say, that's absolutely true. And it's going to take that to then start to, that name start to fall away. But again, like we've said, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, the only thing to stop the chatter is to win. So if you put in a couple Lombardi trophies under the name Commanders, those new fans are going to definitely outweigh the older fans. And the problem with some of those older fans like us is that there was that 20, 25-year gap where was literal misery. And majority of that time was Redskins. That was under Redskins. So while we might remember 80, well, a lot of us don't remember 83. 87, you and I were very young. And even 91, we're in elementary school. So a lot of those people don't. We know fans that are our age that don't even remember those times. They weren't fans at that particular time. So you win Super Bowls, you become giants as far as how dominant you are and play and everything. They'll completely forget that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.